Hello everyone, I'm Floor from Goldchain Studios, and today we're checking out the Rhino plugin by Aurora DSP.
That's like a rhino.
First off, a big thanks to Aurora DSP for sponsoring this video by sending me the Rhino plugin. This is basically a complete guitar suite that has everything you need to get a finished tone. It doesn't try to emulate any guitar amps, but rather gives you the ability to create your own custom tone. All guitars in this project have the Rhino plugin on them, and there's no additional processing. So this is how the guitars sound straight out of the Rhino. Now let's go over all the sections of this plugin. Let's start with the in section. This basically has a noise gate that has attack and release that you can change. The character affects your signal, so the smooth creates a high roll-off frequency. Normal doesn't affect the signal, and hot adds like a 2K shelf to boost the clarity and attacks. Next section is the pre section. These are all the different amps. So you have 6 different amps, one for clean, one for more crunchy tones and more mid-based. This is based on a orange amplifier, if I'm not mistaken. And the last 3, blue, purple and gray, are high gain amps. I'm using the purple one for this example. Each one of these amps also has their own type of boost button. Here you see the fire. Here it's more like headroom, boost, etc. So just to give you a quick example what that does. So like I said, it just boosts the signal a bit. Then you have some pedals in front of that. Screamer obviously is like a tube screamer. The brute adds low end and cleans up the mids. A fuzz is the fuzz. Nothing to say about that. And push is a compressor. The cool thing is that everything is in parallel, so you can blend them in. So if you just want half of the tube screamer affecting your signal, you just put it to half. And you can do that with each one of these. Then of course you have a high and a low pass that you can do here. Adjust the lows, mids, trebles, anything you can do with any normal amp. Push the drive, however you feel like. Next section is the power amp and the IR. You can use 4 IRs at the same time. They all sound pretty cool. So basically they have all the tones that you would want out of IRs. So I think this is more than enough. But of course you can add your own IRs to it. Let's check them out. Then what's also cool is that there's a Bogren Digital pack. So 4 extra IRs from Bogren Digital. This is how they sound together. And then there are some pre-dialed IRs already. So if you want to have more type of lead IRs, you can choose this. For cleans, they have those. And what's also really cool is that you can use this export button. If you have a certain IR created with all these different ones, you can export that as a WAV file and drop it into any other IR loader. Then you have the presence and resonation controls. The hot control adjusts the 1K region, so it gives a bit more high end to the whole thing. And then you have a couple power amp settings. So the flat doesn't add anything, it's like neutral. The studio adds an API preamp. and live has tubes with the mid scoop and adds a high range bump. So let's check how they sound. Then there are two sections for modulation. So you have like a flanger, chorus, phaser, and then you have time-based effects. So your delay and reverbs. Then we go over to the EQ section. This has 4 bands that you can also change from slopes to low and high pass filters or just the bell ones. I like to use those. You can also adjust the cues, wide or very narrow cue. Then there is the tone matching section, which is actually a little bit confusing because in my opinion this should be called tone enhancing, because it does not actually capture external tones, but instead offers you 3 built-in presets. It analyzes the tone from the current amp inside Rhino, and then it gives you 3 target contours and the option to blend them in. So they are more used to improve your tone rather than creating a new one. Let me just show you how this works. So like I said, it doesn't take any external captures, it just does the internal tone matching basically. Then there's the out section. This consists out of a tight parameter. This is basically a multi-band compressor that controls the low-end frequencies for palm mutes, and a limiter. Seems to only push the signal, but unfortunately it's not actually limiting it. There might be a bug, let me show you. So that's a little bit unfortunate that it doesn't actually limit it. So hopefully they will fix that in the future. Other than that, there's a tuner, which I find pretty accurate because most tuners inside amp sims for some reason don't really work for me, but this one is pretty accurate. And then you have a light and a dark GUI. And then there is one hidden feature that I actually found out through scrolling through the presets, which is a octaver. So just to show you how to activate it, because I could not find this in the manual or anywhere else. So that's a pretty cool feature. All you have to do is hold and drag the Rhino until this appears, and that blends in the octaver. So it's also parallel. Would be cool if they could actually put the percentage on there so you can see how much you want to blend it in. Other than that, pretty cool feature. There are a couple things that I think could be improved, that you could turn on and off the individual bands in the equalizer, because right now if you don't want to use this, you have to pull it down to 0 instead of just clicking and turning it on and off. Of course, the limiter issue, that it actually limits, and like I said, the percentage in the Rhino for the octaver. Other than that, this is a great plugin to give you both the ability to craft tones from scratch or simply choose a cool preset and start chugging. It has everything a guitar plugin needs, so you can use it for anything from clean to leads, high gain and crunch tones. So it's your one-stop shop for everything. If you are using it or planning to give it a shot, just let me know in the comments. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please give a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you feel like. And that's all. See you next time. Thank you so much.